Hello guys, this is Paul McWhorter with TopTechBoy.com, and we're here today with episode number 19 in our incredible new tutorial series where you're learning how to think like an engineer using the Arduino Uno R4 Wi-Fi. What I will need you to do is pour yourself a nice strong glass of ice cold coffee. That is straight up black coffee. Pour it over ice, no sugar, no sweeteners, none needed. And as you're pouring your coffee, as always, I want to give a shout out to our friends over at Sunfounder. Sunfounder is actually sponsoring this most excellent series of video lessons. And in this class, we will be using the Sunfounder Elite Explorer Kit. Now, hopefully most of you guys already have your gear, but if you don't, look down in the description. There is a link over to Amazon. You can hop on over there and pick your kit up. And believe me, your life and my life are going to be a whole lot easier if we are working on identical hardware. But enough of this shameless self-promotion. Let's jump in and talk about what I am going to teach you today. And what I'm going to teach you is basically what I'm going to be showing you is I'm going to be showing you my solution to the homework assignment that I gave you in lesson number 18. So I must ask, were you successful in doing the homework? If you were successful, leave a comment down below. I am legend, double chest bump. If you were not successful, leave a comment down below. I folded up like a cheap Walmart lawn chair. Man, I hope you guys were successful because it really was just kind of combining the things that I'd already taught in earlier lessons to do a new project. And what I'm trying to do is on these homeworks, I'm trying to reinforce the earlier learning so that you don't just see it once, but you see it and you begin to use it. It begins to become part of your toolbox. So I hope you guys were able to do it. Now, what I showed you was with an RGB, a red, green, blue LED. I showed you how you could turn it red, you could turn it green, you could turn it blue. But in the homework assignment, I told you to give the user an option of red, green, blue, cyan, magenta, yellow, and then orange, white. And then I'm going to go ahead and throw in on my solution off to turn the thing off. Now, hopefully you weren't looking for an 8-legged LED that had a cyan, magenta, and yellow. Hopefully you made the connection that the way you were going to get those other colors was to mix the reds, the greens, and the blues to get these other colors. So hopefully you guys caught on to that. But this is going to be kind of a fun little lesson. So let me get out of your way. Let me enjoy a sip of coffee. And let's come over to our overhead view. Now, I showed you in the last lesson how to hook up the RGB LED, so I'm not going to take you through that step by step, but I just want you to see that this second leg on the downside, it is the long leg. The second leg over, the second leg right here, that is the long leg. So make sure that you plug it in the same way that I have it plugged in. And if you plug it in that way, then this will be the R, the red channel. The next one again is ground. And then this one will be the green channel. And this one will be the blue channel. So I've got red, ground, green, blue. Now the red, the green, and the blue need a what? They need a current limiting resistor. So I have 1,000 ohm resistors, that a 1,000 ohm resistor that goes from the red leg across the trench, and then I connect it to the red wire to our friend Mr. Pin 9. Then the green leg of the LED goes to this 1,000 ohm resistor, jumps the trench, it goes to the green wire to our friend Mr. Pin 10. And then the blue leg of the LED goes across the 1,000 ohm resistor. It goes through the 1,000 ohm resistor to the blue wire, which goes to our friend pin 11. So we're using pin 9, pin 10, and pin 11. And so that should be familiar to you. The one other thing I think I should show you here is this second pin, this long leg. What I have it connected to is I have it connected to this bottom rail over here, and then I make this entire rail, this entire strip here, I make a ground by taking this wire and running it back to one of the ground connections on the Arduino. And so I went pretty fast there. If I went too fast for you, go back and watch lesson number 18 because I really explained it in quite a lot of detail there. So I wanted to kind of just review it, but not spend a lot of time on it. So I do think that we're ready to start coding. And so we're going to come over here, and I got to get this window a better proportion here. A more adept YouTuber would have had that ready already, but we'll try to power on through and get it going. Okay, so what I need you to do is open up your Arduino IDE. We're always going to start with bare minimum. So we go to File, Examples, Basic, and open up bare minimum. And then we always want to make sure our Arduino is connected. So I'm going to go to Tools, Port, and then you can see that my Arduino is on COM5, so I select COM5. You'll probably be on a different COM, but wherever your Arduino shows up, select that one. Okay, so that looks good, and now we're going to come up here and we're going to start coding. But I'm going to have a little jet fuel first. I'm going to go a little faster through this first part because a lot of it is similar to what we did last week. So the first thing is I want to set up my variables for my pins. And so I'll say I have an int variable for red pin, and that's going to be equal to what? What did I say the red wire was connected to? Our friend Mr. Pin 9. Okay, like that. Now I'm going to do int green pin, and that was what? Pin 10. Do you see how I like to do things in order? I like to do everything red, green, blue. Red wire, green wire, blue wire, and then I need to red, green, blue. I like to do everything in the same order, and then the coding just kind of clicks. It just kind of clicks. Okay, now I'm going to do int blue pin. It clicks even more if I don't talk so much, and that's going to be pin 11. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a baud rate BR, and that is going to be equal to 115,200, just because we can. And then remember, if I set the BR here to 115,200, down here in our friendly serial monitor, right down here, I'm going to go ahead and turn that serial monitor on. I should make sure that this is 115,200 here. And just a reminder, this has to be on no line ending, or you're going to get all types of wacko results. And so, man, in that first Arduino class I did, the most common comment I got, and I got thousands of them, it doesn't work, it doesn't work, I did exactly what you did. Yeah, but you didn't listen to me when I said set your serial monitor to no line ending. Okay, now we're going to come up to our void setup. We're going to go inside the void setup, which means what is inside the void setup? It means between the open curly and the closed curly. This curly opens the void setup. This curly closes the void setup. We are talking to the serial monitor, so what do we need to do? We need to start at serial.begin. And what did we say? 115.2. No, don't type that number in there. Use your variable BR like that. Okay, now we also have 3 pins, so we need to do what? 3 pin modes. And so we're going to go pin mode. Which pin? Red pin, and it is an output. Okay, we're going to do a pin mode, which pin green pin, and it is a what? It is an output, all uppercase like that. Okay, then we're going to do a pin mode, and then we're going to do what? Blue pin like that, output. This is going fast. Now we're going to do what? A pin mode, and then what? Cyan pin. Out. No, you don't have a cyan pin. You got a red pin, a green pin, and a blue pin. You're going to have to figure out how to get that cyan, but you're not going to do it through a cyan pin, right? So now I have that all set up. That looks pretty good. Colon, all uppercase, red, green, blue, just glancing over it. Okay, that looks good. Okay, now what do we want to get? We want to get from the user what color they want. Okay, what color does the user want? What color does the user want? So if I want to get input from the user, I have to do what? 3 things: ask, wait, read. And so I'm going to ask, and that reminds me I should probably up here set up a prompt. Okay, so I'm going to have a string, and that is going to be my prompt, and that's going to be the string inside of quotes. Enter your desired color, please. Okay, like that. And then also I'm going to need a variable to put what they put in there. I got to have a variable to hold the color they want. And so I'm going to make that a string, and that's going to be user color. User color is kind of long. I'll use user color. That's all right. User color. And I'm not going to set that anything because we'll get that from who? From the user. All right, now we need to ask, wait, read. How do we ask? With the print statement, serial.println, because we want to go to the next line, println what? My prompt, like that. Okay, now what do we do? We've asked, now what do? We wait. While serial.available equals 0, then what do? We open the curly, and then we close the curly. So what does this do? This is going to wait. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me what you don't like. The first thing that you don't like is the conditionals always need to be inside of parentheses. Okay, and so now I put the conditional, whether it's an if statement or a while loop or whatever, the conditional always goes inside the parentheses. Now tell me what else you don't like. If you're checking a conditional, you never say equal, you always say what? Equal, equal. So now everything's perfect, right? Everything's perfect? No. What else? Serial.available, that has a what? That has an open close. See, I like giving you guys homework assignments because you got to get comfortable with those things. Did you see how right that was when I said while, like I did it originally? It really looked right, but there were what? In one little bit of code, something that really looked right had 3 pretty big errors. Now, how long does it wait? It waits as long as it takes, and then when something is on the serial monitor, then it is going to read it. It is going to read it. So I come down here and I say user color is equal to serial.parse int. No, it's not an int. It's a what? Serial.read string, read a string, and then an open close like that. Now, these crazy guys out there, some of you old guys, it's like you leave your cap locks on. And some of you young guys, you do this crazy every other letter is uppercase. But I don't know what you guys are going to do. So whatever you do, I'm going to convert it to lowercase. And so I am going to do that with our friend here, I'm trying to get this all lined up here. What is it? It is user, okay, user color dot to lowercase. And notice the L is uppercase, the C is uppercase. You got to do it perfectly. We give it the old open close parentheses, and we bring it on home with our friend the semicolon. So user color becomes user color to lowercase. Now, it doesn't matter what kind of nonsense you're doing with uppercase, lowercase, I'll be able to get these if statements to work correctly. So now what's the first thing we're going to look for is we're going to look for a red. And so I say if, and then I say if user color is equal to the string red, then what do? I open and close my curly. No, what did I do? I did it again. This has to be in a parenthesis because it is a conditional, okay? And what did I do here? I just made user color equal to red. If I want to see if it's red, I need to do the what? The equal. Now, what would I do here? Well, I could do digital writes, but I think you're going to see it's really better to do analog writes here, and that way we can tweak our values if we want to adjust our colors a little bit. So I'm going to do analog write. Who am I going to write to? Red pen. And where am I going to put him? To 55, like that. Now, you could go put variables up there, but in this case, I'm just going to keep going. It's sort of like it gets a little tedious if I have a whole bunch of different, like, you know, red bright, green bright, blue bright. I'm just going to go with numbers here. I'm going to claim instructor prerogative on that one, even though I tell you that's bad programming. And I'm going to what? I don't know what the last guy that used this, I don't know what he put. He might have let the thing blue, so I better turn the other ones off. So red pin, green pin is going to be 0. Okay, like that. And now analog right. And then I'm going to say red, green, blue pin. And that is going to be 0 as well. All right. I should be able to run this already, and I just want to test it for red, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that code and I'm going to copy and paste it for green, blue, cyan, magenta, yellow, and then orange, and then white, and then off. I'm going to copy it for all of those, so I kind of want to see if it runs before I do all that copying and pasting. So let's run this thing, and let's see. What is that? It hates me. What is that? It hates me. String color. String user color. That sure looks right. String, the S is uppercase, user color, that's right. Semicolon, that's right. Why is it giving me an error on that string command? Well, maybe it is the line before where we forgot who? Our friend, Mr. Semicolon. So let's try again. At least that wouldn't have been one that I would have copied and pasted. What is this? Okay. So remember when I did this, I showed you 3 errors. I was going to see if you were paying attention, and we're going to show me the 4th error. What is the 4th error? That should be uppercase like that, okay? But you see, when you do that, then you guys leave a comment and you say, I did exactly what you did and it didn't work. No, if you did exactly what I did, you would get exactly the same result that I was getting. If you're not getting the result that I got, then you made a mistake. And the number one most important thing in being an effective troubleshooter is realizing if it doesn't work, it's because you made a mistake. And you know what I used to tell my students when I taught them in person, they'd say, my program's not working. And what I would tell them is, it is doing exactly what you told it to do. And so when they said my program isn't working, I would say, well, what's it doing? Correct answer is, well, it's doing exactly what I told it to do. Well, then go tell it the right thing to do. But you've got to mentally kind of come to grips with, it looks so right, but you got to say, it looks right, but there's a mistake in there. I got to go in there and find it. And once you get that mindset, then you can do troubleshooting a lot better. Let's try it again. Okay, no ugly little orange, no ugly little orange, and it is downloading. And boom, at least we got the errors out of there. So let's come back to our serial monitor. Now, we didn't have it open, so I'm going to have to press the button to run it again. Now I get the prompt, and then I'm just going to type in red, and boom. Okay, so at least I know that snippet of code works. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to take this blank space out, and so I'm going to get the close curly that closes the clause, the open curly that opens it, and go all the way to the if statement. I'm going to copy that, and then I always like to leave kind of like blank lines between my chunks of code, and I'm going to paste it. But this time, what do we want? We want green, like that. And then for green, red would be what? 0, and green would be 255, like that. Okay, so we've done red and green. Now let's come in and we are going to do red, green, and blue, like that. And for blue, certainly you don't want red on. You certainly don't want red on. And in fact, you don't want green on. But what do you want? You want blue on, and you want it how far on? All the way, man. We want it all the way on at 255. So we've done red, green, blue. Now, the moment of truth, we are going to come to what? We're coming to cyan. And cyan is a mixture of what? Of green and blue. Cyan could also be considered like aqua or turquoise. And so for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the green at 255. I'm going to put the blue at 255. Now, I will say when we look at that, we want to see if it's a good cyan because, you know, the red, the green, and the blue LED, they're sort of different materials. And some of them for the same voltage, for the same output level, will have different brightnesses. And so just turning them both full on does not necessarily give you really that perfect cyan. So you might need to adjust those numbers a little bit, but we'll only know that after we look at it. So now what do? We do our friend cyan and then his buddy magenta, okay? And magenta likewise is going to be red and blue. So we're going to go 255 like that. So that's our friend magenta, is a mixture of red and blue. Hopefully you guys figured this out. Okay, cyan, magenta, and now we are to the elusive yellow. Sometimes yellow you've got to play with a little bit. Yellow seems to be one that you a lot of times have to tweak, but the yellow is going to be red and what? Green. 255 like that. Okay, now what else? We also said beside yellow we wanted what? We wanted orange, orange, like that. And orange is also a mixture of red and green, but really you want less green and you want more red, so you want to turn that green down because like orange is on the red side of yellow, so you want more red and you want less green. And so I'm going to put, instead of 255, I'm going to put like 150. And we'll see where it goes from there. We got to look at it. We got to dial it in. We got to adjust it. We got to fine tune it. Okay, we got to fine tune it. So now I've done cyan, magenta, yellow, and I've done orange. Well, what do we want? We want white now. So I'm going to do this. And then white is really, what is white? It's the combination of red and green and blue. And so we can get pretty close if we go 255, 255, and 255. We'll turn them all on and we should get something close to white. And then what else do I want to do? I want to do an overall over and out. So I'm going to say off, that's not good, off. And then off is going to be it's going to be 0, 0, 0. So they should be all off then. Let's think if there's anything else that we need to think about here. I think that really looks pretty good. Now we probably are going to need to tweak those values a little bit. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and run it, have a little sip of my Go juice. Are you guys drinking your coffee, or are you still drinking those sugary, worthless, kill you drinks? Straight up coffee, no sugar. You don't need any sugar in your beverages, okay? So now it looks like I got a prompt. So let's go ahead and say red and see if it doesn't work. Then I just know I need to reset it. But I think that is my prompt. Boom! Look at that, red. Now what I want to show you is I've got this diffuser. And that really is a really good red, and it just helps you see it a little bit better. I wish I had a little stand so I wouldn't have to just keep holding it on there. Okay, red, green, boom. Let's see what happens. Look at that. Now that is a beautiful, lovely, perfect, spectacular, saturated, wonderful green. Okay, now what? Blue, like that, blue. Okay, and look at that magnificent, marvelous blue, a lovely, lovely blue. Okay, now red, green, blue. Now what? This is the moment of truth, cyan. And what I'm going to try to hold this. I'm going to try to hold this as it changes. And I want you to see that the blue kind of goes more into, you watch the green come into it. Okay, now do you see that? Do you see that? That now it is that aqua turquoise. Lovely. Turquoise is one of my favorite colors, that aqua. Yeah, that's one of my favorite colors. Cyan, so we've done red, green, blue, cyan. Now we're going to go to magenta. I really like magenta too. Magenta is another really nice color. Look at that. Magenta is kind of that purple color. We've got that cyan, magenta. And now the moment of truth. Yellow is always the hard one. Okay. Now when I look at this, the problem is that really has too much green in it. You see, when I'm looking at this, I'm getting a hint of yellow, but the green is way, way too strong. And so now I'm going to come up here. And which one was that one? That was yellow. And so on the yellow, I'm going to take that 255 down to 150. Okay. And now if that was too green, then probably orange was too green too. And so I'm going to take that down to 50. So orange is going to be 255 red, and then green I've got to take down because green on this particular LED, green is the bully. Green is overwhelming everything else. So we're going to choke him down, put him in his place, okay? Yeah. You think you can bully the other colors? We'll turn you down to 50. If that doesn't work, you're on your way to an even lower number, mister. Okay, so here we go. All right, and here we come to yellow, like that. Okay, now that, my friend, is yellow. That is an absolutely perfect yellow. Well done, well done. But now, the moment of truth, orange. I worry that maybe I beat up on green too much. Maybe I was too hard on green, but let's see. We'll see here. I mean, yeah, but let's see. Oh, man. That is... Let's try it again. Make sure I got it. Orange, like that. Yeah, that is a good orange, but I'm going to turn it down a little bit more. Dare I go to 25? Dare I go to 25? Let's see. And you guys looking at yours in person, your numbers might not be exactly the same as mine. It might depend a little bit on the LED, but I'm going to go orange, like that. Oh, yeah. You see, that is not red. That is not red. That really is orange. So on this LED, where I started like up near 255, I had to really hammer the green. I had to hammer the green in order to get that orange. Okay, now still we're going to look at the white, and the white, that is really a pretty close to white. There's maybe a little bit too much green in there. So just like on those other ones, let's see if I turn that green down to maybe 150. Let's see if I get a little bit better white if I do that. Okay, we're going to go white like that. Okay, guys, that really is a better white. You know, if I get it there right like that, that really is a better white. Now this is acting a little bit like a lens, and you can see that it's collecting green and red over at the corners, but if you get it just right, you can see that it's mixing to white, and that looks pretty darn good. Okay, guys, so we've learned some stuff today. We've reviewed the things that we've learned in the first 18 lessons, and then what you learned how to do today is you learned how to mix colors. Now, this is your homework assignment for next week. This is your homework assignment for next week. What I want you to do, I was distracted by something I thought I saw out the window. But back to the homework. This is your homework assignment. Leave your RGB LED hooked up, and what I want you to do is I want you to flash it with this sequence: red, green, blue. So pretty quick, just go red, green, blue, and then wait like a second. So it's going to go red, green, blue. It's going to wait a second, and then red, green, blue, wait about a second. And then I want you to do that exactly. I want you to do that exactly 25 times. You're going to go red, green, blue, and then you're going to wait a second. Red, green, blue, wait a second. And you're going to do that 25 different times, and then you're going to stop, okay? Now, this sounds easy, but then maybe there's going to be some things you're going to have to think a little bit about, because after you do it 25 times, what do I want you to do? I want you to stop, okay? After you do it 25 times, I want you to stop. All right, and so that's your homework assignment for next week. Now, what I need you to do is make a short video, and by short, I mean 30 seconds, a minute, not more than a couple of minutes, where you show the code and then you show the circuit and you show your program working, where you can show that it's doing what we ask you to do. And then in your homework video, when you post it to YouTube, guys, don't do the YouTube shorts. Make just a real little YouTube video. It's hard because the shorts you can't comment on. I can't comment on your short. But if you just do a normal YouTube video, and then in your description link back to my lesson here, and then on this lesson in the comments you link over to your homework solution, and I can hop on over there and take a look at it and comment on it. Okay guys, I hope you're having as much fun taking this class as I am making the lessons. As always, I want to give a big thank you to you guys who are standing with me on Patreon. Your support and your encouragement is what's keeping me in the game here. You can also help me with a thumbs up or leaving a comment down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. When you do, ring that bell so that you'll get notification when future lessons drop. And most importantly, share this video with other people, because the world needs more people thinking like an engineer and fewer people sitting around watching silly cat videos. Paul McWhorter with TopTechBoy.com. I will talk to you guys later.